Hey guys, Matt Wenning here again, and what I want to talk about today is training over 40 years old. Now I'll be 42 this year in just a month, and I wanted to talk to you guys about what's changed and what you might need to be focusing on if you're over 40 and you're still trying to stay strong or make new progress. So let's get at it. The first thing you're going to have to understand is over 40 years old, and I noticed this about 38, 39, is that you're just not going to recover as fast. This means that when you're training, you probably definitely need to have a week where you at least drop things down to recover at least once a month. So I even did this as a younger athlete, but I feel like if you train hard for 3 weeks and then take 1 week down, and then hard for 3 weeks, 1 week down, and what I mean by down is not completely taking training out, but just taking out some of the intensive properties of that training, that you're probably going to make more progress and have less or a reduction in injuries and just staleness. The problem with training over 40 is that you're going to get up and you're going to feel it more the next day. It's going to be more of a cumulative effect of training, meaning that you're going to feel more beat up more often if you're not doing everything perfect. So that would be my first thing, is that make sure you're taking a deload every 3 or 4 weeks or when you feel necessary. But I find that this has kept me training hard for nearly 30 years now. But I noticed that it was immensely important once I hit over 40. The next thing is, I think that we need to meal prep. So if you're over 40 years old, you should be semi part of your life where you're getting more stable, you're getting more control and of what you can control in your daily life. Your kids might be a little bit older. You have to start meal prepping. All right, so it might be an excuse to not meal prep if you're a broke college kid. If you're 40 and still can't afford the proper food and meal preps, you might want to look at your lifestyle, especially as a strength training person, and reevaluate your goals. But the point is that if you're meal prepping constantly, you're probably going to see better results in not only recovery but performance. So what I find is that over 40 years old, and this attacks both of those areas, both in deloading and meal prepping, is that you have to have more things perfect in order to sustain the same progress you were making in your 20s and your 30s. I think it's completely possible to be stronger at 40, 45 years old than you were at 30 if you have all the other dominoes in effect. But if you're missing a key component to training, i.e. some other things we're going to get into, like meal prepping or deloading, you're probably going to find that you're either going to burn out or get injured easier at over 40 years old. So we've covered meal prepping, we've covered deloading. Now the next thing I would recover is supplementation. So as we get older, we just don't absorb food or nutrients nearly as well. And that's when ATP Labs comes in. ATP Labs is a medical grade supplement company out of Canada that we have been prescribing for years, but I was turned on to by Charles Poliquin, probably one of the best strength coaches in the world ever lived. Was the head strength coach for Team Canada and Team USA for many years, and also consulted with sheiks in the Middle East. The guy was immense. But he turned me on to ATP Labs about 6 or 8 years ago, and we have been deep into taking those supplements, and I think that's what's helped me hold on to my prime a lot longer. Some of the major supplements I would say that over 40 are huge are, surprise, surprise, ones that help you recover better. So what I would say is that your magnesium levels are going to be probably low. Your zinc levels are going to start falling, which is going to affect your testosterone. Back to the magnesium, it's probably going to affect your sleep. And then you're just going to need a good multivitamin to help replenish some of the nutrients that maybe food's not either having out in the real world today and or you can absorb as well. So I would say that those are my 3 major supplements that I would take over 40. Now, that is going to be barring looking at any blood work of specific deficiencies that you may have. So take that and look at what I'm saying, but also go to your doctor and get your blood work done to make sure that you don't have a vitamin D deficiency or something of that nature that's causing issues. The last thing that I think you have to think of over 40, and people at 20 should be listening to this too, which they're not going to, which is you need variety. So we all know at 40 years old, especially if you've been training for a long time, that psychological staleness is one of the biggest killers of training. So if you're just doing the same shit over and over and over again, eventually you're going to psychologically burn out from doing that. And I think that's what causes, at least I would say 30 to 50% of people quitting lifting, is that they go in and do the same thing over and over and over again, and then they just get so burned out from doing it, they just stop, or they get so many overuse issues from doing it, like training with a straight bar on squats or training with a straight bar on bench press so often that it just trashes them. So as you can see in this video, I just benched 530 pounds, weighing right at 260 at 42 years old, and I had not touched a straight bar bench in 6 weeks. I've been doing declines, inclines, dumbbells, all kinds of things. The point is that some people can't psychologically take getting away from specificity. They think if you want to be a good runner, you have to run all the time. They think that if you want to be a good bencher, you have to bench press all the time. In this particular scenario, being a 40-year-old lifter, you think to maintain your bench press from what you built in your 20s and 30s that you need to bench press all the time. And the answer to that is absolutely not. You need to know where your weaknesses are all the time. So if you're 40 years old and you don't have the time to kind of develop all this yourself, hop on our website, come on to online coaching, and let us help you. Because there's a lot of little things that you're probably doing wrong that we can either, one, make the training feel better, or two, make you progress far beyond where you thought you could be at 40 plus. So I'll talk to you guys later and see you on winningstrength.com.